The overarching Assassin's Creed storyline revolves around three key characters: Desmond Miles, Layla Hassan, and Basim. Their stories are interconnected through the struggle between the Assassins and the Templars, and the legacy of the first civilization, also known as the Isu. They navigate history, tapping into their ancestors using the Animus, a high-tech version of Ancestry.com. Here's my summary of the main Assassin's Creed games and some thoughts about what's to come. Spoilers are ahead, so only watch if you want to find out more. Here's Chapter 1, all about Desmond Miles, known as the Saviour. The first game, Assassin's Creed 1 from 2007, looks at his captivity. Assassin's Creed follows Altair, an assassin during the Third Crusade in 1191. After failing a critical mission and causing the death of a fellow assassin, Altair is demoted and tasked with assassinating 9 key figures in the Holy Land to regain his honour. As he eliminates his targets, he uncovers a larger conspiracy. He learns that his master, Al-Mulaim, has secretly been seeking control of a powerful artifact called the Apple of Eden. After defeating the 9 targets, Altair confronts and kills him, claiming the apple for the assassins and gaining new wisdom about the ongoing conflict between the assassins and the Templars. In the modern-day storyline, Desmond Miles, a bartender, is kidnapped by Abstergo Industries, who are the modern Templars. He's forced to relive Altair's memories using the Animus, under the guidance of Dr. Warren Vidic, as Subject 17. By the game's end, Desmond begins to experience the bleeding effect, granting him Altair's equal vision, which reveals cryptic messages about an ancient civilization and impending disaster through notes left by previous subjects. Assassin's Creed 2 from 2009 sees Desmond's escape. The game follows Ezio Auditore, a young nobleman in Renaissance Italy who becomes an assassin after his father and brothers are executed by the Templars. Seeking revenge, Ezio uncovers a vast Templar conspiracy involving powerful figures like the Borgia family. He masters the assassin's skills while dismantling Templar influence across Florence, Venice, and Rome. Ezio eventually confronts and defeats Rodrigo Borgia, who seeks to use the Apple of Eden to control humanity. In the process, he discovers a hidden chamber, where a hologram of Minerva, a member of the first civilization, directly addresses Desmond Miles, revealing that an impending catastrophe threatens the world. The first civilization are also referred to here as the Isu. The Isu are an ancient advanced race who existed long before humanity, and their technology, knowledge, and artifacts significantly influenced the course of human history. The Isu are portrayed as godlike beings, possessing superior intelligence, and they're responsible for creating the Pieces of Eden, powerful artifacts that control and manipulate human behaviour. The Isu were highly advanced, using technology that was far beyond anything humans could comprehend. However, their civilization eventually collapsed due to internal conflicts, wars, and a revolt led by their human creations, which they called the Children of the First Civilization. This rebellion led to the destruction of the Isu, and much of their knowledge and technology was lost or buried, leaving only fragments in the form of artifacts. The Pieces of Eden, which are scattered across the world, have the potential to shape history and control human minds. The Isu are also tied to many of the gods from various mythologies, with figures like Jupiter and Minerva in Roman mythology or Odin and Loki in Norse mythology, being revealed as actual Isu beings in the lore of the series. The struggle over the Isu's legacy, whether to use their knowledge for control or freedom, is a central theme in the Assassin's Creed series, and is the main battle between the Assassins and the Templars. In the modern-day storyline, Desmond, having escaped Abstergo with the help of assassin Lucy Stillman, he joins modern assassins Sean Hastings, Rebecca Crane, and Lucy, and the game ends with Desmond and his team being discovered by Abstergo forces. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood from 2010 sees his training. This continues Ezio Auditore's story, beginning immediately after Assassin's Creed 2. After defeating the Borgia, Ezio returns to Monteregione, but the city is attacked by Rodrigo's ruthless son. Ezio's uncle Mario is killed and the Apple of Eden is stolen. Fleeing to Rome, Ezio rebuilds the Assassin Brotherhood to counter Cesare's growing power. He recruits and trains new assassins, weakens Borgia influence and gathers allies, including Leonardo da Vinci. Eventually, he infiltrates the Vatican, retrieves an apple, and ensures Caesar's downfall, leaving him to die in exile. In the modern day, Desmond Miles and his team hide in Monteregione while using the Animus to relive Ezio's memories. After locating the apple in modern-day Italy, Desmond retrieves it, but is suddenly controlled by the consciousness of Juno, the first civilization being. Under her influence, he's forced to stab Lucy, his ally, leaving the story on a dramatic cliffhanger. Assassin's Creed Revelations from 2011 is all about coma fighting. Revelations follows an older Ezio as he travels to Constantinople in 1511 to uncover secrets left by Altair. He searches for 5 Masayev keys, which are ancient artifacts that unlock Altair's hidden library. Along the way, Ezio becomes involved in a power struggle between the Ottoman Empire and the Byzantine Templars. Ezio ultimately recovers the keys, witnessing memories of Altair's later years, and discovers that the library contains no books, only Altair's remains and another apple, which Ezio chooses to leave behind. Realizing he has fulfilled his purpose, Ezio retires from the assassin's life. In the modern day, Desmond remained trapped in a coma after the events of Brotherhood inside the Animus. He interacts with Subject 16, a previous test subject, and explores his own past. By reliving Ezio's final journey, Desmond regains consciousness and prepares for the next phase of his mission to stop the impending catastrophe affecting the entire world. Assassin's Creed 3 from 2012 looks at the sacrifice to save the world. This game follows Connor, a half-Mohawk, half-English assassin during the American Revolution. After his village is attacked by Templars led by Charles Lee, Connor joins the Assassin Brotherhood to protect his people and fight tyranny. As the revolution unfolds, Connor allies with historical figures, taking down key Templar figures, including his own father, Haytham Kenway. Eventually, he eliminates Charles Lee, securing a temporary victory for the Assassins, though he realizes that both sides of the war have their flaws. In the modern day, Desmond Miles and his team continue their mission to prevent a global catastrophe. Using the knowledge gained from the Animus, they locate the Grand Temple of the First Civilization. Juno and Aita are 2 Isu figures who attempted to survive extinction and are discovered in the climax. Desmond chooses to sacrifice himself to activate a device that protects the Earth from disaster, but in doing so he releases Juno, an ancient and powerful precursor being, setting the stage for the future conflicts in the series. And here we go into Chapter 2, the post-Desmond era and the anonymous employee. After Desmond's death, his DNA and memories are used by Abstergo to extract more information. From this point on, players control an anonymous character as an Abstergo employee using the Animus. It appears direct descendants are no longer required here. In Assassin's Creed Black Flag in 2013, Abstergo uses Desmond's DNA. This follows Edward Kenway, a Welsh pirate seeking fortune in the Caribbean during the early 18th century. After killing an assassin, he assumes his identity and becomes involved in the ongoing conflict between the Assassins and the Templars. Edward learns that the Templars seek the Observatory, a powerful device that can track anyone through their blood. Initially driven by greed, he allies with famous pirates while building his own fleet. However, as his reckless pursuits of wealth lead to betrayal and loss, Edward realizes the true cost of his actions. And after the death of many of his friends and the fall of piracy, Edward embraces the Assassin's cause, dismantles the Templars' plans, and helps secure the Observatory. In the modern day, the player is contacted by John, an IT technician who is secretly a sage, a reincarnation of an ancient precursor being. John manipulates the player into hacking Abstergo systems, uncovering secrets about the Templars' ongoing search for First Civilization artifacts and surveillance technologies. Eventually, John attempts to use the player to revive Juno, a powerful precursor, but fails and is killed by Abstergo security. By the end of the game, the player is recruited by the modern-day assassins to continue working against Abstergo from the inside. Assassin's Creed Rogue follows Shay Cormac, an assassin turned Templar during the mid-18th century. Initially a loyal member of the Assassin Brotherhood, Shay begins to question their methods after a mission in Lisbon caused a catastrophic earthquake, killing thousands. He realized that the assassins are unknowingly triggering these disasters by seeking out powerful precursor artifacts. Betrayed and nearly killed by his former allies, Shay defects to the Templars, believing their approach to maintaining order is less reckless. He systematically hunts down his former assassin's comrades, including his mentor, Achilles Davenport, leaving only a few survivors who later train Connor Kenway from Assassin's Creed 3. In the modern-day storyline, the player assumes the role of an unnamed Abstergo Entertainment employee again, working with Shay's genetic memories. During the process, a virus, potentially linked to Juno, corrupts Abstergo's systems, locking the employee inside the facility. As a player continues exploring Shay's past, they're contacted by Otso Berg, a high-ranking Templar in the present day. Berg and his team task the player with restoring Abstergo's systems while uncovering key information about Shay's betrayal of the Assassins. By the end of the game, Berg gives the player a choice: join the Templars or be left at their mercy. Assassin's Creed Unity in 2014 looks at Abstergo exploiting historical data. This takes place during the French Revolution and follows Arnaud Dorian, a young man whose life is shattered when his adoptive father Francois is murdered by the Templars. Arnaud is drawn into the conflict between the Assassins and the Templars as he seeks revenge for his father's death, and uncovers the larger conspiracy involving the Templars' control over the French aristocracy. As Arnaud joins the Assassin Brotherhood, he navigates the chaos of the Revolution, forming alliances with key historical figures. Throughout his journey, Arnaud struggles with personal loyalty to his former love Elise, who is a Templar, and his mission to dismantle the Templar influence over France. The game culminates with Arnaud confronting the Templar leaders, including the death of Elise, and helping to ensure the downfall of the Templar Order in France. The modern-day storyline sees the player assume the role of the nameless initiate working with the Assassin Brotherhood. This character is tasked with reliving the memories of Arnaud Dorian through the Animus in order to assist the Brotherhood in their ongoing struggle against the Templars. The player interacts with a modern-day assassin mentor named Bishop, and is involved in gathering critical information about the Templar and Assassin organizations. There's also a focus on tracking down and recovering pieces of Eden. Assassin's Creed Syndicate from 2015 looks at the Assassins and Templars' battle over the Shroud of Eden. Syndicate takes place in Victorian-era London in 1868 and follows twin siblings Jacob and Evie Fry as they battle for control of the city. Jacob, the more impulsive of the two, seeks to overthrow the Templar-controlled criminal organizations that dominate London, while Evie is focused on recovering a piece of Eden and restoring the Assassin Brotherhood. The Frys join forces with historical figures as they work to disrupt the Templar-led Temple faction, led by the ruthless Crawford Starrick. They dismantle Starrick's empire by targeting key associates freeing London from Templar rule. In the process, the siblings confront moral dilemmas, with Jacob's brashness and desire for power often clashing with Evie's more cautious, idealistic approach. The story culminates with the Frys defeating Starrick, liberating London and setting up the city as a base for the future of the Assassin Brotherhood. In the modern day, the player controls an Abstergo Entertainment employee working in the Innovations Division. They're tasked with exploring the memories of Jacob and Evie Fry through the Animus. The goal is to gather information for Abstergo's Templar-controlled projects, primarily related to the pieces of Eden. Meanwhile, Layla Hassan and the Assassins race against Otso Berg, who is Abstergo's top Templar, to find the Shroud of Eden. As the story unfolds, the player uncovers information about Abstergo's plans to use the Fry twins' memories for profit and to further their control over technology and society. Throughout the game, the player also uncovers a secret project, Ouroboros, which involves using the genetic memories of assassins to develop new technologies. The game concludes with the player's decision to either continue working for Abstergo or attempt to undermine their plans. Layla at this point joins the Assassins, shifting the modern story back in their favour. Time for Chapter 3, and this is when Assassin's Creed introduces a new protagonist again, Layla Hassan, known as the Seeker. Assassin's Creed Origins from 2017 looks from Abstergo to the Assassins. Years after Desmond's death, Layla Hassan, an ambitious Abstergo researcher, discovers the tombs of Bayek and Aya, who are the founders of the Assassin's Brotherhood, and she uses a portable Animus to explore their memories. This takes place in ancient Egypt around 49 BCE and follows Bayek of Siwa, who's a Medjay, a protector of Egypt. The story begins with Bayek's quest for vengeance against the Order of the Ancients, a shadowy organisation that killed his son during an attack on his village. As Bayek hunts down the members of the Order, he uncovers the group's connection to the Templars and their pursuit of control over Egypt. Along the way, Bayek encounters historical figures, becoming involved in the political struggles of Egypt. Throughout his journey, Bayek's personal quest for justice transforms into a larger mission to protect his homeland and its people. Eventually, Bayek and his wife Aya discover the Order's ultimate plan, leading to the creation of the Assassin's Brotherhood as a way to resist those who seek control over free will and power. The game concludes with Bayek's acceptance of his new role in founding the Brotherhood, marking the beginning of the Assassin's legacy. In the modern day, the player controls Layla Hassan, who is now a former Abstergo employee joining the Assassin's Brotherhood. Using this portable animus, she relives Bayek's memories in search of ancient knowledge to help the Assassins in their ongoing war against the Templars. As she progresses, Layla uncovers clues about the Isu and their role in shaping humanity, as well as hints about future technological threats. The modern-day narrative ends with Layla's decision to take on a more active role in the Assassins. Assassin's Creed Odyssey from 2018 looks at the Staff of Hermes. Odyssey takes place in ancient Greece during 431 to 422 BCE and follows either Alexius or Cassandra, descendants of the legendary Spartan king Leonidas. The player begins as a mercenary who is cast out from their family at a young age, and the story then revolves around the quest to uncover the truth about their family and the mysteries of their past. As they investigate, they're drawn into the conflict between the Assassins and the Templars, the latter of whom are pursuing powerful artifacts linked to the first civilization, including the legendary staff of Leonidas. Along the way, they encounter key historical figures, while becoming entangled in the war between Athens and Sparta. They also face the Cult of Cosmos, a secret organization with ties to the Templar, which is manipulating the war to achieve its own ends. Using a portable animus, Layla relives the memories of Cassandra or Alexius in order to uncover more about the first civilization and stop the Templars' plans. Throughout her journey, Layla struggles with the pressure of her mission and the ethical implications of her actions. She finds a Staff of Hermes, an Isu artifact that grants immortality. The ancient warrior Cassandra, alive for centuries, passes the staff on to Layla, telling her that she is now the key to shaping the future. However, prolonged exposure to the staff then starts to corrupt Layla's mind, making her more reckless and violent. Assassin's Creed Valhalla from 2020 looks at Ragnarok and her fate. This follows Ivar, a Viking raider and warrior, either a male or female, during the late 9th century. Ivar is raised in Norway but is forced to leave after their clan is defeated in a conflict. Ivar and their brother Sigurd journey to England to establish a new home for their people, aiming to settle and build a Viking kingdom amidst the fractured Anglo-Saxons. As Ivar navigates the complex politics of the various English kingdoms, they encounter key historical figures like King Alfred the Great and fight against both Saxons and the Order of the Ancients, a precursor to the Templars. Ivar's journey involves uniting different Viking clans, seeking revenge and making choices that shape the fate of England. They also explore their own connection to the Assassins through Sigurd, who carries a hidden Isu artifact that influences his actions. Ivar also has links to the Norse god Odin and battles for a weighty expansion to deny the dawn of Ragnarok. In the modern-day storyline, the player controls Layla Hassan once again, who is using the Animus to relive Ivar's memories. Layla is working to stop the Templars and uncover the secrets of the Isu, all while dealing with the personal fallout of her previous actions. The modern-day narrative ties into the larger conflict between the Assassins and the Templars, with Layla facing increasing danger as she uncovers powerful Isu artifacts that could alter the course of humanity. She discovers an Isu supercomputer called the Yggdrasil device, which could allow her to preserve herself digitally. Inside the machine, she meets a mysterious digital entity known as the Reader, later revealed to be Desmond Miles. Following his death in Assassin's Creed 3, Desmond's consciousness was transported into a simulated environment known as the Grey, created by the Isu. Within this simulation, he exists as a being of light called the Reader, tasked with analysing various timelines to prevent future catastrophes. In Valhalla's modern-day storyline, the unexplained strengthening of the Earth's magnetic field is linked to Desmond's activation of Isu towers in 2012. Layla enters the Grey to stabilise the magnetic anomalies too, and there she encounters Desmond, and together they explore different timelines to avert impending disasters, ultimately leading Layla to sacrifice her physical form to assist even further. Layla's consciousness remains inside the machine, guiding future generations. And now the final chapter, Chapter 4, Basim, the Reborn. Mirage 2023 looks at the lovable rogue Basim. Set in 9th century Baghdad, the game delves into Basim's earlier years before his involvements in the events of Valhalla. The story explores Basim's journey from a street thief to a member of the Hidden Ones, the precursors to the Assassin's Brotherhood. Driven by a desire for justice and revenge after the loss of his family, Basim joins the Hidden Ones to fight against oppressive forces ruling over Baghdad. Along the way, Basim navigates a complex political and religious landscape of the Islamic Golden Age, dealing with rival factions and uncovering hidden truths about the ancient conflict between the Assassins and the Templars, or also known as the Order of the Ancients. Throughout the game, Basim's growth as a master of stealth and combat is shown as he develops his skills and philosophy, eventually becoming a skilled assassin. Mirage notably doesn't feature characters like Sean, Rebecca, Layla or Desmond, and does not reference the Animus technology. This brings us on to the culmination of the last few games. Now in Valhalla, Basim is a bit of a hidden one with a dark past. He plays a significant role, especially in the latter stages of the game. He's initially introduced as an assassin who aids Ivor in their quest. Basim's story is gradually revealed to be much more complex and tied to the larger mythology of the game. Basim is revealed to be the reincarnation of Loki, the Norse god of mischief, and his true motivations are tied to his deep resentment of Odin, the god of war, who he believes has wronged him. Basim's history is rooted in his tragic past as Loki in the realm of the Isu. Where he was deeply involved in their downfall and sought to destroy the power structures that had created him and his fellow gods. His obsession with revenge against Odin shapes his actions throughout the game. Throughout Valhalla, Basim acts as both a mentor and ally to Ivor, encouraging them to pursue the goals of the Assassins. But as the story progresses, it becomes clear that Basim has his own agenda. He believes Ivor is the key to unlocking his vengeance against Odin, and since Ivor carries the blood of the Isu and has a connection to the past, Basim's ultimate goal is to then use his power and his own connection to the Isu artifacts to achieve his revenge on Odin, who he believes betrayed him during the events of Ragnarok. In the end, Basim seizes control of the Hidden One's order and seeks to wield the power of the Isu to reshape the world in his vision, going beyond the Assassin's goals of freedom and free will. During the events of Valhalla, he then becomes trapped in the device, preserving his body for over 1,000 years. And when Layla re-enters the machine, Basim wakes up in 2020, physically alive and still in his original body. He quickly manipulates the assassins and infiltrates Abstergo, taking the Staff of Hermes, which heals his body and restores his full strength. As of Valhalla's ending, Basim is the main modern-day character. He's using Desmond's Animus data to search for more Isu knowledge, and he appears to be working against both the Assassins and the Templars, suggesting that he has his own agenda. So to wrap it up, we have Desmond, the hero who sacrificed himself to save the world. His consciousness still exists digitally as an AI-like being known as the Reader. Layla, a scientist turned assassin who followed Desmond's path but lost herself to the Isu's power. Her consciousness is also stored. And Basim, a reincarnated Isu villain who's returned to life and is now in control of the modern storyline. Basim is alive in 2020 and using Desmond's Animus data to locate more Isu knowledge. With Basim in charge and Layla gone, the future of the Assassin-Templar war is more uncertain than ever as Basim appears to have his own hidden agenda. Basim isn't just a human assassin, he is the reincarnation of Loki, the Norse Isu trickster. He now possesses the Staff of Hermes, granting him immortality and near invulnerability. He has centuries of assassin training, but also the cunning mind of an Isu. Basim's true motives are really unclear, but let's look at some possibilities. He could get revenge against the Isu reincarnations because he hated Odin. He could try and get power and control over assassins and the Templars. Will he mentor a new generation of assassins or Templars, or will he build his own third faction based on Isu knowledge and control? And what about finding Juno or other Isu beings? Juno, the rogue Isu, was thought to be dead, but Basim might know otherwise, and he could be hunting for other Isu survivors or ancient technology to restore the Isu rule. The Isu storyline has really evolved from just gods with powerful artifacts to a complex history of reincarnations, lost technologies, and reality manipulation. And what did Desmond, now known as the Reader, see? In Valhalla, he was exploring different timelines and futures. He sees possible alternate histories, but what does this mean for the real world? Does this mean that Odin, Thor, and other Isu have also returned? The next games may introduce more Isu reincarnations in different time periods, maybe. And maybe we're going to see other Isu cities. Odyssey and Valhalla introduced some ruins, but we've yet to see a fully intact city. The next few games could explore lost Isu strongholds, revealing even greater technology. So where are these games all going? Well, Assassin's Creed Shadows is taking place in feudal Japan, featuring a shinobi assassin. How does this connect to Basim or the Isu, I wonder? Can Japan now hold new pieces of Eden, or reincarnated Isu figures? Codename Hex is set during the Witch Trials era, and could involve a hidden Isu cult or a secret assassin experiment. There's future modern-day storylines too. Is Basim going to search for more Isu technology? Are the Assassins and Templars reacting at all? And is the Reader, as Desmond, possibly warning humanity about a new and different threat? The Assassin's Creed series is at a real turning point. With Layla gone, Desmond as an AI, and Basim back in the real world, the future is uncertain. So will Basim become the new villain? Are there more reincarnated Isu? Will the war between Assassins and Templar finally end or escalate? The next games will likely answer these questions. Well, so we hope. What are your theories and thoughts?